I would now like to call upon our next plenary, Reclaiming Equity with Inclusion. I would just like to see, we're still 5 minutes early to see if the panelists are here. Harsha A. Alnad, Serene Dardani. Can I get the music done? Thank you. Serene Dardani. Katia Cardona, Seema Mishra, Asna Tafiq, Ritu Goyal Harish, Arushi Prasad, Alan Kriti Soni, Judy Robinette, Bayanka Mankoya, Raghav Prakash, Hital Sonpal, Paulina Rodgertzia. Welcome, Paulina. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have it. Our next dynamic panel. A big round of applause for all of our panelists this afternoon. Are you feeling the energy? Not yet, right? Look at this good-looking panel. Can we hear it for these ladies and gentlemen? Well, with that, we will call our first speaker to come up on stage.
My dress is made by a Syrian refugee woman. She's a widowed, and she's a mother of 5. So she learned how to make dresses, and now she's making dresses. So my name is Sirine. I consider myself a social change maker. What I do is I establish safe spaces for community development. I have been working with refugees for the past 8 years. In Arabic, the word self is nafs, and the word breath is nafas. It is also referred to as the soul, the spirit. A short story. We selected 50 children from an urban refugee camp in Beirut, in Lebanon. It's called Shatila. It's a concrete jungle which doesn't see the light of day. It's a place with traumatic history, massacres, and killing. It's 1 square meter kilometer with 44,000 residents, vulnerable and marginalized people, that is. After my field team was done setting up a humble safe space in the suburbs of Beirut, surrounded by greenery and mountains, I visit the center, and so do the children for the first time. I see Salwa, a 6-year-old refugee girl, with her head out the window. The teacher is telling her to come back in. She replies, "Am akhud nafas," which means, "I am taking a breath. I want to breathe. Please let me breathe." Not gonna cry. Is this not the essence of a human vibration begging for a moment of peace? In that minute, I realized that my duty as a human being is to take care of this nafs by allowing those who are suffocating to breathe, to inhale knowledge and love, and to exhale peace, tolerance, and imagination. I was at WEF last year, and I learned 3 important things. First, to pacify external conflicts, I must first wage peace within myself. Pleasure is essential to knowledge. The patriarchy has obviously failed. It is time for a cosmopolitan and inclusive matriarchal system to rise. And together, we can all imagine that. Thank you.
I had a chat with Serena yesterday or 2 days ago, and I got to know the work that you do, and it's impeccable. Thank you for working in a space where we're afraid to go to sometimes, and sometimes you just have to go there to learn more. So thank you for encouraging people in the room to be able to go there and experience what you're experiencing. And thank you for bringing this lovely dress from the lady that you work with very personally. Thank you. A big round of applause for all of your work. Next, I would like to invite Katia Villaforte to please come up on stage. She is professor, and she's coming from Mexico. A warm welcome to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. It's been a privilege being here. And I want to start my speech saying that I've been privileged for many things that I haven't earned. I've been privileged because I look white, even though I have indigenous origins. I've been privileged because I've had a private education. I've been privileged because I've never had to worry about my next meal. Many people haven't had that privilege. But also, I have been rejected and criticized because I am a single mother. I've been rejected and criticized because I am outspoken and I am determined. And those characteristics only belong to men. So I think that right now what we need in our world is empathy. Empathy to understand others' stories. Empathy means only understanding. It doesn't mean that you need to feel with others. It doesn't mean that you need to be or accept or forgive or forget who they are, or that you need to live according to their rules. It only means that you understand their stories and that you don't allow that information to interfere with your judgment. You can still have your life, you can still have your norms, you can still be who you think and want to be. But let's respect others. And I'm going to say something that a president, the first Mexican president with indigenous origins from 19th century in Mexico said, Benito Juárez. Respect for the rights of others is peace. We still have a long way to go. So let's be more empathetic with others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katia, for that important message. I think being empathetic is how we should now live, should open our heart, where it's, for me personally, that's the most important thing, is being empathetic towards every situation that comes your way. So big round of applause for Katia. Next, I would like to invite Seema Mishra to please come up on stage. She's a dean. Welcome. A big round of applause for Seema Mishra.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Seema Mishra. By profession, I'm an academician, and by passion, I'm a social activist. There's a story behind why my passion and my profession are interconnected, and that's the tool that I have found to change this world. I was born and brought up in a Brahmin conservative family. I was a third daughter, and I faced all the discrimination that is in a patriarchy is deep-rooted, and that too in a Brahmin family of Bundelkhand, Uttar Pradesh. Despite my grandfather was MLA, he was a freedom fighter and he was MLA for consecutive 3 tenure, he was ready to give all the privilege except education. Though my father was corporate lawyer, my mother had never seen school, and none of my family, previous generation women has ever seen face of college. And I used to wonder between the two contrasting words. I used to go to school and colleges. There I used to find confident women teachers. I used to take inspiration from them. And coming back home, I used to see my family women. They were all dependent for everything on the men. And I feel that patriarchy is something we all have to raise voice and we have to question. So when it comes to my father, he will always love his daughter. I simply have to convince him why I need and what I need. So I convinced him to take up PG. Post-graduation was something very big in my family because after graduation, everyone has to get married, look after and see if the in-laws allow you to do whatever. So because you're dependent. So I somehow convinced my father to pursue post-graduation, and that too in fashion marketing, way back in 1995. My father thought it is just a hobby, but I had some other plan behind that. And after pursuing my qualification, I convinced my father I'll not get my qualification degrees unless and until I pursue internship. He allowed me to do internship because he assumed it is without pay. I mean, a Brahmin men find it very, very hurting if a woman is earning. Economic empowerment is something we have been not privileged with. So after pursuing my internship, I started it as an internship, and after 6 months when my father asked me, when is your internship getting over? I told him, Papa, the employers were really happy with my performance and they are paying me, I have got a job now. So I'm already earning, and he was shocked. Now the point was, he had never seen women in his own family working. I mean, there were a lot of apprehensions that every man has got regarding the safety, security of the women in their own family. So maybe by my value, the way I carried myself, the confidence that internship has brought with, my father agreed I will continue my job only up till I get married. So I was waiting for that D-Day, and I made it a point to marry a man who will first agree that whether I can work or not. So I was privileged that I got a husband who was working in media, and he agreed, but he also accepted that, you know, I should look after family. So my next battle started from there. And my story is long, and the bell has already rang, but I just wanted to tell you that in my family, when the women have not done even graduation, I did 2 PGs, I have completed my PhD, and I took education as a tool. And I know this is a way to empowerment. So I've chosen a profession where I'm working as a dean to a business management college. I'm educating women, I'm empowering them, and I also understand that women should be there in the leadership role. So I have been working with teen.org as a campaigner where I'm fighting for women's rights. There are various financial inclusion and economic empowerment petitions that I have rung. Today also have got a good response from a decision maker from an MP, and I'm looking for a way forward. And yes, I'm very happy I've got a new word today, so that patriarchy is over. It's matriarchy now that we have to work towards. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you for sharing inside information of your life at a young age and how you broke barriers then. So a big round of applause for you. Next, I would like to call upon Ritu Goyal Harish to come up on stage. She is the founder and MD of Ease India Travel. Welcome. A big round of applause for Ritu.
Hi, I run a company and my name is Ritu. Good evening, everybody. 3 years ago, my 16-year-old came up to me and made a very startling revelation. She said, Mom, I'm bisexual. And that meant reinventing not just parenting for myself, but a basic understanding of how this community functions and what happens in their lives. When I started the company 2 years ago, I decided that I would make inclusion a very big part of my business model. Because it's not just enough to somewhere make money, it's also very important to make a very humble, maybe a very tiny contribution, which is more like a drop in the ocean, but that's what we do. So today, I'm standing here because I believe that inclusivity is the way forward. That is the essence of life, and for humanity, that is the only way to make life comfortable, not just for everybody around us, but also for ourselves. Having an intrinsic understanding of inclusivity, of what inclusion means for every strata of society. So today my company organizes holidays for the LGBTQ community in particular. We are coming up with a database of properties currently only in India, where they welcome this community with open arms, where there's no judgment, where there is absolutely, they're not given those looks, they're not frowned upon, and they can feel comfortable taking a well-deserved holiday. Similarly, we organize holidays for the senior citizens of our country, and especially women. I have personally led many, many such trips where we feel that women, especially after they're 60 years old, are straddled with the responsibility of raising grandchildren. This is a very cultural thing in India. And we sort of feel that they don't deserve the happiness, the fun, the joy, and they don't deserve to explore the world. And I think that kind of exclusion needs to be done away with. So that's what we do. And the last segment that we cater to, and the reason why I'm here, amongst other reasons as well, is that we also cater to holidays for people who have weight issues. And I think this is going to strike a chord with many people, because a lot of us have struggled with this kind of discrimination in our own lives. You become part of a holiday package, you go with somebody, and there's so much you can't do because everyone's maybe more active than you, or is able to do a lot of things that you can't. So as a company, this is what I have decided. I am here, like I said, a drop in the ocean, but I'm here to reclaim equity with inclusion for all mankind. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritu. What beautiful words, and you summed it up in such a nice way, and focusing on such key important things that we sometimes miss out on, especially when we talk about parents. So thank you for having that in your company. A big round of applause for Ritu. Next, I would like to invite Alankrita Soni to please come up on stage. She is an expert with sustainable built environment sharp development. Welcome. A big round of applause for Alankrita.
Good evening, everyone. Well, I'm going to read out today. It was a really hectic day for me. It was my first day at work. So, yeah, it was quite a day. Well, good evening, everyone. It's my proud privilege to be here, and I'm really thankful to Women Economic Forum and its gorgeous chairperson and beautiful ladies here for bestowing me with the honor of being Women of Excellence. I feel really honored to be part of this journey of womanhood, and I congratulate the entire team here for the effort they're putting for bringing inspiring stories from around the world. Let me introduce myself first. I would like to call myself as an environmentally conscious architect. I'm an artist. I love traveling. I love photography. I'm a waste crusader, and also I love gardening. So this is the small introduction. I'm basically a typical Gemini. I love doing multitasking. So I feel that there is very little time in life to experience beautiful world around us. So I try to multitask as much as possible. I've been working in the real estate sector for over 11 years now. And Indian real estate sector is primarily a men's world. And it's often, I'm in a situation where I'm the only girl in the room. And believe me, it is tough. And you have to somehow, but maybe it is an advantage and disadvantage. And I most of the time use it as my advantage to make sure that my voice is being heard. I also like to, bring in a different perspective to the whole idea of inclusion and equity, which is by design. So because I'm a design professional, so I believe that one of the ways in which we can, maybe promote inclusivity or equality is through design. Maybe designing spaces which promote inclusion, maybe design spaces which are more safer for women, design spaces which are more disabled friendly. So this is one of the way I look at the whole idea of reclaiming inclusion with equality. And I think built spaces do matters, and one has to start looking at surrounding or the spaces around us in a different way and start designing them in a very, very different perspective. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inspiring us this afternoon, again, with another powerful speaker. Ms. Soni, a big round of applause for you. Next, I would like to invite Raghav Prakash to please come up on stage. He's an entrepreneur, a business executive coach with Raghav Prakash. Prakash, please come up on stage.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So out of any stage as I've stood on, this is probably the most humbling experience in my life. I'd like to say at least one of the most humbling experiences in my life. Thank you. That's a pretty good start already. I think we're 10 seconds in. I remember I was speaking to... Sorry? I am really blessed. Absolutely. I remember just a couple of days ago, I bumped into a lady when I was having a coffee, and she said, Raghav, I wish we had more men like you here. And I said, do you mean more men like me, or do you mean more men? I don't know if you want more men like me here. So I think she might have been slightly confused. But it really is a privilege to be here, and I love the topic, reclaiming equity with inclusion. Because when I think about the subject of inclusion, I don't actually want to talk too much about what I do, but I want to talk more about the subject, because I've only got 4 minutes. When I think about inclusion, for me, that is just what's real. Nothing exists outside of inclusion, because when you're in love, when you're experiencing love in your life, all you see is inclusion. When we come away from love, we have everything but inclusion. In my world and with the clients that I coach, anything that causes separation is just a lack of love. Anything that, any part of your life, any part of the economy, any part of business, where you experience any form of separation, whether that be putting up a wall between countries, whether that be the Brexit situation, where if you live in London, I'm sure you can't get anywhere without hearing the word Brexit. You know, the breakfast, lunch, dinner, you hear that word everywhere. But a lot of the challenges we have today aren't because, let's say, of anything more than just a simple misunderstanding. And the great people here, the great leaders here, a number of incredible women have recognized the big understanding in the world around us. And that's why I'm totally humbled to be here, just to witness such incredible speakers coming up to the podium and just expressing their voice with such grace, with such candor. And what I'd love to see more of, and for me, if we want to create more inclusion, is not about tackling what's not working, because what's not working fades out. When we bring in more consciousness, what's not working no longer stays, but possibility opens up. And to step more into possibility, to create more inclusion, whether it's in a corporate system, whether it's in the economy, that's particular one area I'd love to see more inclusion. As a coach, my passion, and to wrap up, I want to take what I'm doing into politics in the future. Because this year we've experienced the biggest diversity in Britain, with a number of Asian leaders coming into power, with a rise in the number of females entering and women entering. Politics is beautiful to see. So all I want to say for now is keep shining your voice, keep speaking up, keep living with love and passion, and keep supporting the great leaders around us today that are bringing rise to such an exciting opportunity of inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghav. I think you summed up the entire thing really beautifully, because you actually took the whole room and included it in your speech. So thank you. It's coming all the way from UK. A big round of applause for you, Raghav. I would now like to call upon Harsha Almat to please come up on stage to share your words with us. It's right over there.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're all enjoying the evening very much. Just to introduce myself, my name is Harsha Almat. I'm a managing director with Accenture, and I feel extremely blessed to be a young woman with a dream to make it big in consulting. And yeah, I did make it big in consulting. It's just amazing to be a woman under 30, to be part of a $40 billion enterprise, global enterprise, and having an extremely successful consulting career. It really is a privilege. This privilege came to me because there were a lot of people who actually pulled me into the inclusion aspect, beginning with my parents, who actually invested in my education, ensuring that we all girls, we have 5 girls, each one of us has an amazing career. We are successful women contributing to a society on the back of the education that we have received. But each one of us has a very clear trajectory on the basis of which we have delivered. So there was inclusion which came in from my family. There was inclusion in the family that I'm married into. My mother-in-law, she is a food scientist. She's an extremely successful woman, and it's just amazing to be married into a family where your mother-in-law absolutely understands where you need to travel abroad on very short notice, right? So that inclusion comes from the family as well. And of course, working in an amazing company like Accenture, where diversity and inclusion are not just words. We have pledged to make it 50-50 of our workforce, 400,000 people, guys, and by 2025 we have pledged that 50-50. Half of it will be men, half of it will be women. And that only comes through serious commitment, serious inclusion of women at the top. While I mentioned that it's a privilege to be a managing director for Accenture, it also is very daunting because oftentimes I'm the only woman in a room of 40 men. It's very daunting because I travel to very random places at very short notice. It's daunting because I'm expected to deliver high performance every single day. And that happens because I have the back and the support of so many people who are helping me make it, expand my horizons. People like Naina Lalji, who introduced me to Harbeen, built a network in India, people who also want other women to be successful. So for me, inclusion is not just, it's all about pulling other people up, right? Because there sure are a lot of women who can, I guess, benefit from example. So I would say with inclusion, they say, right, with great power comes with great responsibility. I think with inclusion, you also have the responsibility to try and pull someone with you and make sure that we women are able to, work together towards equality. So thank you very much for your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Harsha. Just want to say that we hear about inclusion so much, and then making sure the companies actually divide or are performing equality at workplace, but not every workplace is doing that. So for you to do that is super commendable. I know there's a lot of people in the room that do it. So if we hear it all the time, maybe we can inspire more people to do it. So thank you for doing such a fabulous job. A big round of applause to you. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Hito Sonpal to please come up on stage. He's an angel investor, sales, marketing, and strategy leader. A big round of applause for Mr. Hito Sonpal.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here, addressing an audience of beautiful women. When we think about women, I want to share a small clip from a movie which I watched recently. It's called Son Chidiya. And there is a small caption there. It's about the lady is wannabe dacoit, and she's talking to the famous dacoit Phulan Devi. And Phulan Devi is pretty impressed with this lady, and she says, "Why don't you join my gang?" So the lady says, "Are you sure you want to join you want me to join your gang, because I'm not from the same caste as you?" And she gave a very beautiful line. She said, "Rajput, Shudra, Brahmin, all these castes are created by men. Women are only one caste." The second line, unfortunately, is a wrong one. It says the lowermost. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at caste, creed, religion, honestly, all the disputes and all the battles which happen globally are fought by men. It's the men who are creating division in the society, outside the society, between countries, between regions, between caste and color. And there are women who are going to level the level playing field. You don't have a men's day, right? You have a women's day. People say that, okay, Women's Day is 365 days a year and they celebrate one. I think the male ego, which doesn't allow them to have more than one Women's Day, I think you can have more Women's Day. You don't have a Men Economic Forum. I think it's recognition of the fact that women are contributing to the economy of the society and the world at large. And that's why you're having a platform like Women Economic Forum. Very impressed with the titles brought up. A bit about me, I'm a startup evangelist. I spent 18 years in the tech industry. I realized I wanted to give back to the corporate world and started helping out startups. I have a portfolio of 25 companies. I'm a great champion of women entrepreneurs. I do believe that they bring in that level of seriousness and level of inclusion, wanting to do work. I would want to end with a famous quote which Margaret Thatcher had given at one point of time. She said, "If you want to get something said, ask a man. If you want to get something done, ask a woman." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hito. Thank you for that sense of humor. We love it. It just brightens our afternoon. A big round of applause for Hito. Next, I would like to invite Paulina to please come up on stage. She's the co-founder and CEO of Venduru. Thank you. Welcome. She's coming all the way from the USA.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure being here with such exceptional women. My name is Paulina Regoratska. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Wanderoo. So I started Wanderoo when I was 25, but before that, I started a PR firm and fashion production firm called Paulina Fashion when I was 19 years old. And so that was my first introduction to business. Thank you. And so when I started Wanderoo with my co-founder, Igor Bratnikov, I was 25 years old, and it was my first entry into the tech space. And we wanted to start a fast-growing tech startup. And so it became clear that we needed to go raise money. And as the CEO of the company, that was my responsibility. And so very quickly, I learned that there was this boundary for women that want to go out and raise funding, because people in the VC world and in the investor world don't look like them. In fact, US female-founded startups have raised just 2.2% of VC investment in 2018, and this did not grow at all since the previous year. So let that sink in. So of all of the investment, female-founded startups only raised 2.2% of the total amount raised in the US. And US is a lot more progressive of a country compared to some of the countries in the world. Less than 10% of VCs are females in the US as well. And if you look at venture capital firms as a whole, 74% of US VC firms have 0 female investors. So this is staggering numbers. And so as a result, it makes it extremely difficult because people want to invest in people like them. It's an unconscious bias that is present in many investors' minds. And so as a female founder, going and trying to raise money for a startup is extremely challenging. One time when I was trying to raise our second round of funding, which luckily I have successfully raised several rounds of funding to date, one of the investors that I spoke with said to me, "I don't invest in people like you." And it hit me really hard. And I remember calling my co-founder afterwards almost in tears and just thinking, you know what, you should go out and raise money from now on. But then I stopped and I said, you know, that's not going to change things. If I send him to raise money, all that does is it's going to perpetuate the problem and make it happen over and over again. And so I pulled myself back up and I forced myself to go out and close that round of funding. And luckily I was able to surround myself with some amazing investors. So let's all work together and get more female co-founders, more female founders, and more female VCs so that we can reclaim equity with inclusion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paulina. Sometimes I feel that no can obviously empower you even more. So, you know, that's what's gotten you so far, because that one person said no to you and you took that and you said, no, I'm going to do it myself. So thank you for sharing that story with us, Paulina. Big round of applause for you. With that, we're going to invite Dr. Harbeen Arora to come up on stage. Along with Harsha, to please join her to present the awards to our panelists this afternoon.
Serene Dardari, please accept your award for Exceptional Woman of Excellence. Katia Cardona, Exceptional Woman of Excellence. Seema Mishra, Iconic Woman Creating a Better World for All. Ritu Goyal, Iconic Woman Creating a Better World for All. Alankrita Soni, Iconic Woman Creating a Better World for All. Raghav Prakash, Iconic Leader Creating a Better World for All. That's Alankrita Soni, Exceptional Woman of Excellence. Raghav Prakash, iconic leader creating a better world for all. Hital Sonpal, exceptional leader of excellence. Paulina, exceptional woman of excellence. Paulina Ray Gaurav. Please, all of you, please step up for a group picture. It's that time of the day. It's that time of the day where we do our dance. Look at these beautiful cheerleaders. Yes, awaken everyone. We are so lost in thought that we forgot to move.